Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Tennessee Titans versus Bengals pregame breakdown. We have Ken Moore. Yes, it's Halloween. I'm dressed up. He's got his mask on. We looking like a hot mess. It's a good time, man. Again, what are you gonna do? You just gotta go with the flow. And my kid wanted me to dress up like I don't know what the hell this is. I mean, this thing.
You look like a Titan, man. You look
there
like
we go.
a Titan.
That's what I try to wear the hat as well.
Mr. Titan.
I try to wear the hat. The hat didn't go with it. My head looks. It's just like forget it. Well,
this is the closest thing I got to a mask, man. I'm all out of Halloween's dead in my house. Unfortunately, my daughter's 16. She's not going trick or treating. We won't let her go to a haunted house. So
there you go, man.
We got the spooky background, and we'll go with that.
Hey, that's good with me, my friend. Again, thank you so much for coming on, ladies and gentlemen. We have a good show for you guys, like always. And again, we're just going to break it down. We're going to talk about the injury reports, what we need, the 3 keys for victory. And we'll talk a little bit, unfortunately. Let's just dive right into it. Tennessee Titans almost had a nice, epic comeback, end up falling short. We lost to the Steelers, unfortunately, 27-24 in a nail-biter. And apparently, the second half where the Tennessee Titans actually came back, decided to play a game. What were your thoughts, about the game?
Well, obviously the first half was very disappointing for everyone involved, but I was very encouraged the second half to see our ability to come back against a very good ball club. The defense finally made some good plays in the second half to keep us in the ball game until the offense finally got on track. So some good situational football there. I was a little bit disappointed in the play calling from Arthur Smith. I thought we should have tried to attack the edges a little bit more. We didn't run any pitch outs. We didn't run any bootlegs. So I thought trying to get Tannehill or Henry on the outside of that stingy Steelers defense could have helped our offense a little bit more while the game was still intact. But nonetheless, we showed a good effort. We came back. And, of course, we were within a field goal of sending that game to overtime. And it's an unfortunate loss. But it gives the team an opportunity to go back, lick their wounds, and now we're on to Cincinnati, to quote the great Bill Belichick.
Exactly, man. It's that's in the past already. Let's just get over that, take what we had to learn about that game, and just keep going for the next one. That's the only thing you can do. You can't just, everyone's like complaining, oh, we could have been 6 and oh, yeah, we could have been, but we're not. So, I mean, just talking about it's not going to do anything. We just got to continue playing football, fix what we need to fix, and just keep going. And again, people are talking about trades, especially the trade deadline coming up and stuff. And people wanted to see J-Rob make some moves and stuff. I talked to Gerald McGrath on my post-game video, and he said not to change a damn thing. He said, you know what? Secondary is going to start clicking. Man, these guys, with not practicing for 2 weeks and then playing, football game after football game without any rest. I mean, obviously the defense is going to be shaky and stuff like that. But he said they'll eventually, with consistency and practice, they'll eventually click. So is that what you see on the defense part? Like you're not too worried, or you feel like we should have make a couple moves just to help out?
Well, here's the deal, right? I don't see the Titans making a move to bringing in anyone for the front 7 because you've already got $20 million invested in Beasley, in Clowney, who you signed in the offseason. So McGrath is right in that point in that those guys didn't have an offseason. They didn't have a preseason. Then the season got disrupted where they couldn't practice for 2.5 weeks because of COVID. So he is right in that aspect. The team has not been able to practice and get everything clicking. And remember, we're only 6 games into the season. This team still has 10 games to go. Yep. So am I concerned about the defense? Absolutely. Do I think we should bring in another player? Not really, because that player is then going to have to learn the system.
Exactly.
He's going to have to start sharing plays and taking away reps from the guys that are already struggling. So
Yep.
you throw another new guy into that front seven, and you got the same problem that you had before. That was one of the reasons that they traded Correa, so they could get more snaps for Beasley. They could get more snaps for Clowney, so those guys could get into a rhythm. And you hope that Derek Roberson can get back to where he was last year, so he can be the fourth man in that rotation. Now, as far as the secondary goes, I would not mind seeing another guy added to the secondary, because we don't know what the status is of Adoree Jackson. He's still maybe a week away from coming back. If he does come back, how long can he stay on the field? Can he stay healthy for the remainder of the season? You have to worry about Malcolm Butler. He's been up and down. We all know Jonathan Joseph is a journeyman. So I wouldn't mind seeing another cornerback come into the fray. But as far as the front seven, I would leave those guys alone, let them learn, let them continue to practice, and let them continue to get their reps.
Definitely. That's one thing that a lot of people were saying. Again, just the fact that the guys haven't played with each other. We're a very young group. We lost our veteran leadership. You know, we lost that Logan Ryan, that Wesley Woodyard. Like those two guys, man, they're key pieces. Jarrell Casey, you know, all those guys were veteran leaders in that locker room. And again, it's a very young defensive and for the Titans, as well as missing Dean Pease, as he mentioned, missing Dean Pease and Combs, all those. It's showing. You know, it just shows within games and games and games, and teams are just gonna start exploiting that once they see that. If they look at film, you know, because I bet you Kansas City was looking at that. They're like, okay, they brought a spy in for Derrick Henry. That's one way to stop being Derrick Henry. You know, T.J. Watt was everywhere that game. He was everywhere. So again, learn from your mistakes and move on. So let's talk about
and remember, you had a lot of guys that are still recovering from COVID. You remember, you had a lot of coaches that had COVID as well. Now, we never got the names of the coaches that were affected, but you have to imagine some of those coaches may have been on the defensive side of the ball. So if they haven't been there to help teach those guys themselves, then you got a trickle down effect. So remember, we got 10 games left. We're 5-1. Last year at this time, we were 2-4 with a brand new quarterback. So we're miles ahead of where we are last year. Last year, we had to depend a lot on the defense to carry us. Right now, we just got to continue to score 30, 35 points a game with the offense until the defense can catch up.
All right. And let's move on to the Bengals. And again, everyone says that this is kind of a gimme game. It's a get-back game. But again, you can't take this team too lightly. They've been playing good football. I mean, they haven't won a lot of games, but they've been in the games. And that's the thing that concerns me. Again, they lost. The last time they lost was against the Browns. It was 37-34. So they put up points, okay? They lost to Indy, which they should have won, which still upsets me because I was ruined. Again, it was 31-27. So, again, they're putting up points.
They had a 21-zip lead in that game. I have no idea how they lost that game.
Yeah, oh, man. Then you have Baltimore. That Baltimore game got kind of out of hand. It was 27-3. That one's kind of like a hiccup. Then you had the Jacksonville game where, they beat Jacksonville 33-25. Other than those games, and then you had the Eagles game. But other than that, they've been putting up decent numbers. They've been putting up numbers past 25 points, which is really good. And that's like our bread and butter is as long as we can pass 30 points, we win the game. I mean, I don't know anymore, but you have Joe Burrows, who's thrown for 293, right? That's his completion. His yards were 2,023 with 9 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. This kid can play, man. This kid is this kid's a playmaker, and he's going to give us trouble. He is going to give us trouble. What do you think about Joe Burrow?
Yeah, Joe Burrow is tremendous. One of the top young quarterbacks in the draft, along with Justin Herbert. You expected him to struggle this season coming out of the box with no preseason, no OTAs, none of that. And he's coming out slinging it like he's still at LSU.
Yep.
So he's been tremendous thus far. They've had a lot of turmoil, particularly with their offensive line. They have 2 or 3 guys that are injured right now. So with that being said, I think our defense should be able to contain them, specifically their running game. The running game has struggled. They're averaging less than 4 yards per carry, less than 100 yards per game. So again, just like Pittsburgh, just like Buffalo, those teams we should be able to control on the ground. It's just a matter if we can get off the field on 3rd down, and we haven't been able to do that thus far this season.
Yeah, that was one of our main focuses, and that's probably one of the key 2 victories, right? I mean, we say it every week, day in and day out, you have to get out 3rd, you have to get off on 3rd, you have to get out. I mean, if the team played like they did when in the second half in that Steelers game, then, I mean, where was that defense, That looked good compared to the first half. But again, it's funny. It's almost like a domino effect, man. It's a domino effect because guess what? If the defense already starts off bad, then the offense starts, doing bad. And then, which really rarely happens to the Tennessee Titans, which we, excel at this, is our special teams. Special teams starts falling apart, and then we're just an incomplete football team, and that's what happens,
Yeah, that's exactly what happened last week. It was like the defense was bad early.
Mm-hmm.
The offense was bad early.
Yep.
And everything got on track, and then the special teams fell apart. You had a fumble kickoff. You had a drop snap on a punt.
Yep.
You had the missed field goal at the end of the game. So those are things that you can control that Vrabel talked about in the press conferences this week. The team has to be they have to be better at special teams. Typically, we have the best special teams whenever we play anyone. And so when you lose all 3 phases of the ball game and you still only lose by 3 points to an undefeated team,
Exactly.
that shows you the heart and character. So those are the positives that you can take away from that loss. Now you go into play a Cincinnati team that, again, has a lot of injuries. They just traded one of their best defensive players in Carlos Dunlap.
Yeah.
They're really struggling right now. Their season is on the brink of falling apart. Really, the only thing that they're kind of salvaging right now is their quarterback, Joe Burrow, that you mentioned. Joe Mixon, their top running back, he's out for this game, I believe.
Yep.
So the Titans should be able to roll in this ball game. But, again, it's on the road. There may be some weather situations, whether there's some wind, some rain, or whatnot in Cincinnati this weekend. So we'll just have to see how it plays out.
Definitely. And again, we'll talk a little bit about the injury report. Christian Fulton's going to be out. Clowney, Joseph, A.J. Brown, Dennis Kelly. There was a bunch of them, again, that did not practice Thursday. I don't know what the injury report was today for practice if they showed up, but more than likely they will play. I'm not too worried. The only thing, obviously, Christian Fulton. But other than that, the only question is Adoree coming back. In my opinion, I don't think he's coming back for this game. He'll probably come back maybe the following week. Again, we don't know. Like Mike Vrabel, he likes to keep it close to the chest, doesn't like to give out all his secrets. What do you think?
Yeah, we haven't heard anything on Adoree this week, so I would be surprised if he's in the lineup this week. I would probably expect him next week. I think we play Chicago at home next week. And again, this is a team you should be able to beat without Adoree Jackson. So if you can give him another week to try to get back in shape and try to get to 100%, because this is a guy you're going to need for the final 7-8 games of the season going into the playoffs. He's going to have to be the best cornerback on our roster for us to have a chance to beat the Pittsburghs and the Kansas Cities and these teams with these high-powered offenses. We're going to need him at 100%. So I think they're going to be very cautious with him, and he won't be back on the field till he's at least 100%.
Definitely. All right, man. Now this is my favorite part. It's the 3 keys for victories for the Tennessee Titans. Ken Moore, let's do this. What do you got, buddy?
All right. Well, last week we talked about the turnover ratio, and we were +3 in turnovers, and we still lost the football game. So this week I'm going to go with the running game. Last week, Derek was under 100 yards. We know we're 16-0 when he gets over 100 yards. That means we can open up the play-action pass. So we have to get Derrick Henry back over that century mark to 100 yards. So the offensive line really needs to take care of business there. And I'm looking for us this week to get off the field on third down. We have to get some third down stops, got to get some 3-and-outs. Right now we're hovering around 60% that we're letting teams convert on third down. Let's try to get that number to around 45% this week. I think the defense can do it again. The Cincinnati offensive line is beat up. We should be able to get some pressure on Joe Burrow. I expect 2 to 3 sacks this weekend from that front seven. 2 to 3 sacks this weekend from that front seven, and get off the field on third down, and I think we should be able to pull out a victory.
All right. Yeah, definitely. We definitely need some pressure. I mean, it looked good in the Steelers game. I mean, sometimes they would play off, especially on third downs and stuff. We'd play more safe than anything. But I'm like, come on. There was one time where I think Armani Hooker came in and he blocked a pass, deflected it. I mean, those pressures are the ones that we want, not to see consistently, but at least once in a while. I mean, I'm like, come on. Like, we just had – I mean, again, I'd have to give it to Big Ben. He kind of he threw it very quickly. He was very gun quick with the passing. He was short passes, but they got him out within 3 seconds. So regardless of our pass rush being there or not, it was going to be very hard to sack him. So, but hopefully, what do you got, Derrick Henry? You got Derrick Henry running how many? What's the carry?
$125. I got $125 this week on Derrick.
Okay, maybe 20 carries.
About 20 carries. Yeah, you want to keep him fresh.
Mm-hmm.
McNichols has been running well, so you'll continue to mix him in as well. So yeah, as a tandem, they should get about 150 yards total, 150 to 160, and I think that'll be a good recipe for winning the football game. If the weather's bad, then the more we're going to run the football.
Definitely.
So those numbers could increase depending on the weather situation if we're not throwing it as much with Tannehill.
Weather bad, would you go for field goals, extra points, or are you going to go for 2 points? I don't even know anymore.
Oh, man, I don't know. Gostkowski, you got to try to get his confidence back up. Just let him kick it out. And, he's got to rebuild that confidence, and he's got to be dependable. I mean, This is a football league, the NFL. Most games are decided within one possession. So you have to have a solid special team. So he's our guy. We got to roll with it.
Definitely. All right, now, the fun part, predictions. Let's hear your predictions, man.
I got us winning this game by 2 touchdowns. I'm looking at something around the lines of 38-24. Cincinnati's averaging around 23, 24 points a game this season. We're averaging about 31 points per game. So I think we get a little bit more. I think they're right around their average. So I say 38-24.
All right. I think I said in Chris's his pregame I think it was – I know I had the Titans 27, and I believe I had Cincinnati 17. So I'm going to stick with that. Titans 27, Cincinnati 17. We get a victory. We get back to 6-1, and we keep cruising, man. We keep cruising.
Keep cruising. Yeah, this is a must-win. This is a very – even though it's Cincinnati, it's a conference game. It's a big game. You got Pittsburgh and the Ravens playing this week, so one of those teams is going to lose. We hope Pittsburgh finally gets into the loss column because that home field advantage between us, those 2 AFC North teams, and Kansas City, there's only one bye this year, and those teams have pretty easy schedules the remainder of the way, except for when they play each other. So we have to win the games that we're supposed to win because we got those big games coming up at the end of the month with Indianapolis 2 times in 3 weeks. So we got to take care of the next 2 weeks against Cincinnati and Chicago.
There you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, that was the great Ken Moore. Hopefully you guys have a safe, happy Halloween, and we'll catch you next week for the Bears breakdown. Tighten up, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, tighten up, man. I'll see you next week, and be safe this Halloween season.
Hey, you too, brother. Have a good one, man.